floor. Anybody that's got any questions about the budget, I'd be glad to try and answer them.
Hey Ron, I have a quick question about this sale of equipment.
Yep.
Didn't we sell some highway equipment? I don't see it added into the budget.
Yep. Being our monthly report, it's not going to be in next year's budget.
It would be in the amended 2012, right?
Let me see, I know it's in monthly report here. It was $40,000. $40,700 under line 26,665 under our monthly report. But it wouldn't be budgeted for next year.
It would be budgeted for the previous year, right?
No, it wasn't budgeted for that, no.
But wouldn't it be it's not supposed to be added in here? It's not accountable in the budget?
Let's see if that line shows up here, same line. Yeah.
I mean, when you add it to the total spending last year, that would mean the total spending's off by at least 40,000 then, right?
Well, it's not money that was spent, it's revenue.
No, but, well, then it would be in non-expended funds then, or where did?
Minor sales, kept under actual, so it's not in this report, no, it isn't. In our monthly report, which I share with all the board members in the town as well, you will find it under there as of October of $40,700. Actually, this report started probably before I deposited that money. I only deposited that money for that truck the last 30 days or so. It isn't in that report today, in your report there, but it is in this report.
But it won't, would that appear then when you file your certified budget, or you just don't?
What's that?
I mean, to me it seems like sometimes these lines on the budget, I mean, I like them to be what, when you look back at the amended budget, that it says what the real amended budget was.
At the end of the year it would, but this is a moving target all the time. These figures, to give you the figures, what we start with is for the board to be able to develop a budget and be able to share it with the public. Here we have an amended budget for 2012, but 2012 is not done yet. So if there's budget adjustments or money that gets added or subtracted to our 2012 budget, it doesn't get fully qualified until the end of the year. So at the December end of the year's meeting, when we finalize the budget, all those numbers would be then accurate.
Well, I think though that in the 2011 budget, you took money directly out of unexpended funds and used it to pay for the Whitman WOH. Okay. Whitman, Oshman, Hannon. Remember we voted on that? And that money never really appeared at, well, you passed the budget. You passed the budget. And then, so that money never went into the budget, but it came out of unexpended funds. Okay. Is that?
Well, I mean, when we put a line item in there, we're actually asking the taxpayers to raise the money. You understand that? I mean, when we do an appropriation line.
Well, I'm not so interested in the new money. I'm interested in the amended budget because I think that reflects what actually happened during the year.
Okay.
Right?
I have our monthly report, which shows more current dates than.
So you never go back and update what the tentative was?
At the end of the year, and that's a worksheet for us, really.
No, but I'm saying as an example, that never appeared in the certified budget, that money never appeared on any line. It just came out of unexpended funds.
Took it out of fund balance and appropriated it to an appropriation line. That could be.
No, it didn't. It was paid directly. So I'm just wondering if there's other money from the actual budget that doesn't go in there.
Well, if a line item gets overspent, and I think that's probably what you're referring to, is if we budgeted $20,000 for attorney fees and we ended up spending $40,000, we would have to find that other $20,000 either from a line item that didn't get fully expended at the end of the year or take it from the unexpended fund balance at the end of the year.
But doesn't it have to be somehow transferred into?
Oh, yeah. And actually, we have a budget transfer to do a little later tonight. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
So I got a couple of questions. First, about the reserve fund.
Yep.
And about the debt service.
Yep.
About the bond issue. As of the end of 2011, the budget listed $90,000 left in the reserve fund.
Now, the budget reflected that we used $90,000 from
No,
the reserve fund to control the budget.
Okay, well, that's
If
not.
you saw that in the budget, then that was a figure that we utilized.
Well, it seemed to list that that's how much was left at the end of 2011, do you know?
2011, not offhand,
The beginning of 2012, roughly how much was left in the unexpended fund?
$180,000.
180,000.
Yeah.
And you spent how much of that during this year?
Of the fund balance?
Yeah.
We allocated $95,000 from the general fund to offset taxes with for 2013.
So now there's 90,000 left.
Right,
Okay.
if we used all that.
Well, now, the other question is, because I'm going to go back and look at 2011 budget, because that it doesn't say 180,000, it says 90,000.
Well,
But
if
I'll
you're
go look. The other question is, now, when you say that, I know that you got an authorization for 850,000 as a bond issue, but how much was the bid for the contractor? It was around 450,000.
Well, there was a number of things for the whole project.
How much did you spend?
How much have we spent to date?
Yeah.
$700,000.
$700,000,
Or
roughly.
700,000.
Yeah.
Well, how come when we had the whole thing with the lowest bid was 450,000?
Well, we had a bid for the salt sheds, we had a bid for renovating the garage, we had legal fees involved in there, engineering fees. Everything that went along with that project came out of there. We've recently done some blacktopping that we took, we allocated money from that fund as well too to get all that done.
Do you recall having the discussion that that although we budgeted 850,000, we would only have to borrow 450,000? You saying that never occurred? That you never said 450,000 was all that would have to be borrowed?
Yeah, I don't remember saying that, no. We were hoping not to have to borrow the 850, I do remember that, but
Okay.
yeah, we didn't.
My next question is, the bookkeeper for the town, Fitzgerald, is also the bookkeeper for Stockport, where $250,000 is missing. That is the bookkeeper who penciled in $2,750 into the line for Tal Rapelier when $10,000 was missing in 2009. There's a $10,000 discrepancy between the amount he billed and the amount he received. His story and your story about why the $10,000 went from the general fund of the town of Stuyvesant into Tal Rapelier's pocket is not consistent with the actual invoices. Furthermore, the bookkeeper who penciled in $2,750 is now involved in allegations of $250,000 missing from Stockport. Given that the same bookkeeper is involved in both cases, and given that there is no coherent reason for $10,000 to go from the general fund to the pocket of Tal Rapelier, and there is no paperwork justifying it's an inconsistent amount per month, don't you think that this budget should be audited by an outside auditor?
Do I think so?
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to, I understand that I'll never convince you differently, so the board has reviewed these things, these allegations, if you would, that you are making are pretty much fictitious in my mind. So I have reviewed all these things.
All right, since you've reviewed...
Can I answer? I let you talk for a couple seconds. Give me a couple minutes. I have reviewed the budgets as well as bank statements to try and justify that our expenditures match what's coming and going from the bank. I feel comfortable. I've tried to share that information with the board members. We are all taking a hard look at, spending and controlling things because it's our responsibility. And I feel comfortable at this moment in time. If the
So, currently, what is your story as to why the $10,000 went into Tal Rapelier's pocket?
well, we're not going to discuss that right now. That sounds like matters of litigation that I don't think we should be discussing here. You've been explained these things. You've been proven. You've been given numbers from the town and the accountant that explained all these.
The numbers that I was given from the accountant were a ledger that included $2,750 penciled in by the accountant. The only way to square the circle